Under the car. Let me start that over. We're under the car. There's the Fumoto valve. This is the lever here to release the flow. And is it in here? This is where the ball is that shoots out the oil. And we're going to see if when we hit the lever, if it flows past all this here and it goes right into the bucket. And if that's the case, this makes it super easy. Today we're going to be doing an oil change, and I've already done a video on this, so if you want to check that one out, it's like a full how to change the oil in a Scat Pack. That'll be in the upper right or in the description below. Today's video is going to be more of like a couple tools and things that I've picked up over time that have made changing oil much easier. And to answer your first question from the comments from the last video, no, I haven't picked up a set of racing ramps. I still believe in using the jacks and the jack stands. It's just it's more convenient to store them, and it's, you know, it's just the way I've always done it, and it's just much easier that way. At least for me. For you guys, you know, whatever you guys want to do. The I think they have to be, they're the 56-inch long racing jacks that'll actually fit under the Scat Pack chin spoiler. Again, I don't have the room to store them, so, you know, it's just much easier this way for me to do the jack. The first thing that I picked up, I was always pouring the oil back into these little containers, and spilling it all over my driveway. If I can find a link for this, I'll put it in the description. This holds 10 quarts of oil, 16 quarts of oil. So you can get 2 full oil changes, which I don't like to push it because you remember you got to drive this back to the store to dump it. So yeah, I always put this in some kind of Tupperware container or something just to make sure, you know, if there's any spills, there's something else there to catch it. It hasn't leaked yet, but I've only used it twice. So again, this is, you know, you just let all the oil drain in here, wipe it out, and bring it to the store and dump it. Another thing that I picked up, you've got your old school oil wrenches, which if anyone has tried to change the oil in a Scat Pack, this won't work. It's not going to happen. These also, some of them don't open up wide enough, so I actually had to go out and pick up one of these. It's a Craftsman, and it actually expands very nicely around the filter, and you can hit it straight from the bottom with a ratchet and pull it straight off. So that makes life a lot easier. A couple of people asked in the last video, why do I use Royal Purple and not the SRT filters? There really is no specific reason. I couldn't make up my mind. Both are really good filters. This was supposed to be high flow, whatever. So basically, when I can't make up my mind, I let my daughter choose, and she chose the purple filter because the white SRT one, she said, was kind of ugly. So that's the reasoning behind that. This I have on Amazon Subscribe and Save, along with all of my oil supplies. I always have one extra oil change set of supplies on hand, just in case. You know, if you want to go to the track or something like that, I get oil delivered every 6 months, and I always have one extra one on hand just in case I want to do something in between. I drive my car daily, but my commute is about 16 miles a day, so don't put a lot of miles on the car. So it takes me more than the 6 months to do an oil change. So I just change it every 6 months on the clock. Or if I'm going to go racing or something, I'll throw in a fresh oil change in between. Another good tool to have, rubber gloves. So make sure you have some on hand. These are the, I kind of like the black gloves just because, you know, they're black and they're, you know, manly and cool and stuff like that. Always have these on hand with me. And last but not least, I picked up the Fumoto valve. So basically you just crack the valve and it spits the oil straight into the can. They have different variations. I just got the one where you crack the valve and it shoots it into the can. They have ones where you can put, it's got a tap on the end of it, so you can put a tube straight into the oil container if you want to be super neat. But when I purchased it, I didn't realize the valve shoots out sideways. So I always thought it would shoot out straight down, and I was worried about the pan and scraping on the ground, so I never purchased that version. But now seeing the design of the valve, and we're going to go under there. It's been on there for about 4,000, 5,000 miles, and we'll see if it's leaking. It hasn't leaked. I checked it a few times, but then I kind of forgot, so we'll see how that thing's holding up. And we'll see if it is really easier to change the oil with the Fumoto valve over, you know, just, you know, popping it open and spilling it out. I think I got everything covered. I'm going to go grab the oil, get all set up in the car. Oh, one last thing. We're going to change the, we're going to empty out the catch can. I've had the Billet Technology Catch Can in the car for 3,000 miles exactly, installed in July, and it is now April, so it's 9 months later, 3,000 miles later. We're gonna see how filled that bad boy is. First time cracking the Billet Technology Catch Can. All right, so we've got 3,000 miles worth of oil in there, and I would say it's about half full, so we're about up to here. But yeah, captured some oil. Now obviously this should never go back into the engine. It always gets dumped, and then of course we clean it off and put it right back in. I'm going to clean all the threads out. So it doesn't start leaking down the sides. All right. There we go. Again, that was 3,000 miles and 9 months of driving. So if you're wondering why this filter is white and rusty, it's because the last oil change, I got all the oil drained out and I was getting ready to put the new filter in, and I kind of realized that USPS had destroyed the filter on the way over here, so had to run out to the store. Couldn't find a royal purple one, so got whatever Advance Auto had available at the time, and it did pretty good. Not quite sure what brand it was, but either way, we're going back to royal purple anyway, so who cares? Okay, so we have our drip tray, super drip tray down here. We've got the main seal closed, we've got the drain port open, and we've got the breather port open. This way the oil flows out nicely. The Fumoto valve has a little tab here that you pull all the way forward. And then let's just hope it doesn't shoot out too far. Let's find out. All the way forward and all the way down. Oh wow. That's very calm and very relaxed flow. I'm impressed. I was really expecting this thing to shoot out across the back of the car like it normally does. Well, I guess good job, Fumoto. Alright, so I'm very impressed with the Fumoto valve. I think it was definitely worth the money. It's a couple bucks on Amazon. I'll drop a link below. There was no leaks. There's no oil residue around it. It held up very well. And I struggled with it for a bit because I can't really see what's going on over here. And I wasn't realizing I didn't pull it further forward enough. So I don't see this thing leaking under any circumstances, unless, and it's a ball valve. It's used in house plumbing under high pressure. These things are going to be, you know, well, we'll give it the test of time. But seriously, I think it's worth it. The ease of just doing this to drain your oil is I don't know, it's so easy. It does slow down the flow so it doesn't shoot across your driveway. That was another thing that impressed me. It did of course take longer to drain, but I just went inside, published a YouTube video. It was the dash cam footage video, and then I came back outside. It was pretty much done. So I'm gonna go and use my Craftsman. I'm wondering if this is going to screw me up here. Nope, it still catches. Of course, it helps take the socket off. There we go. Should let it do its thing. Huh, seems pretty good. I usually put my finger in the middle to keep it steady. So as far as oil goes, this is something we talked about in my last video. I use 0W40 and I use the Pennzoil Ultra Platinum. It exceeds the Chrysler spec MS12633, which is stated in the manual. People are using other different variations of oil, different brands of oil. To be honest with you, that's an argument for another day. There's no reason why you shouldn't use this, and there's no reason why you're limited to use this. It's just says in the manual, meet this specification. At the time, this is the only oil that met that specification, so that's what I wound up using. Oh, and by the way, a tip from people in my other video. I always obviously put fresh oil on the gasket, but people mentioned to fill this filter up. This way the engine has
fresh oil in it when you start it up. Now, this is something I've never done, and I used to do oil changes as one of my odd jobs as a young man, and we never filled up the filters. And in some cars, like my wife's Jeep Grand Cherokee, you can't fill the filter because the filter goes in this way. So I've never lost a car, and I've changed oil for many years, and I've never lost a car for not filling up the filter. But to be honest with you, it can't hurt because the filter is always full. Just don't fill it up to the top so you're spilling oil all over yourself while you're trying to screw it in. So, you know, give it a little bit of oil, and it actually takes a little bit to soak in. You know, give it enough oil so you can you have some oil in the filter, and so that you can still maneuver the filter into place without spilling oil all over yourself. If you store your funnels in a dusty garage like I do, make sure you take the time to clean all the dust out of the funnels.
Alright, so this video is meant to be like a supplemental video of some cool tools and things that I picked up along the way. If you're looking for a how-to change your oil, I will drop a link in the description below, as well as a card in the upper right of my video. And also, I believe Growl's Garage did a video on changing his oil. He's got a few unique techniques that he tries as well. So I'm going to link to those, or to his video as well, just to give you guys, like, I guess, another point of view of changing the oil in your Scat Pack.
We're going to head over to the oil change or oil life. We're at 50%. Now, the car can't be running when you do this. It has to be in the run position with the ignition off, and we're just going to hold the OK button right there and reset to 100%. Now that that's done, we're going to give the car a good start. Again, making sure she's out of gear. Gonna head back to the oil pressure. Oil pressure is holding good. Like to let it run just for a few seconds, nothing too, not too long. Okay, and again, we'll deal with that key fob low in another video.